Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be discussing and talking about the beef, the biggest showdown in recent history. Content creators in one corner, professional makeup artists in the other. This is beef, okay? This is a grudge match, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Montagues fell out with the Capulets, and no one even really knows when that was or what it was even about to begin with. Do you know? I don't know. But today we're going to find out what the problem is between content creators and professional makeup artists in the beauty space, and why there's so much beef between these two camps. Or is there even beef? Is there any beef? I did not know. This is brand new information to me. So obviously you guys know I am a content creator. I'm absolutely not, nor have I ever been, a professional makeup artist. I have no professional qualifications. I have never done anyone's makeup other than my own, and even that I'm certainly not especially skilled or talented at. And I have always been very honest and very clear about that. I am a content creator who loves beauty, who loves makeup and just wants to share my passion. I am not a professional makeup artist and I would never call myself one, but I do know somebody who is the epitome of a professional makeup artist, and I was not going to have this conversation and debate this topic without someone representing the other side. So I've got a big treat for us all today, someone far more exciting than me to share this topic and their thoughts on. It is the incredible Robert Welsh. Okay, and here he is.
Hi everyone. Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm late, just so everyone knows I was late.
I wasn't going to tell them on you. I wasn't, I promise. It's funny because two things. One, I had a Q&A a little while ago, and someone asked me who was like my dream person that I would love to collaborate with, and I was like, the Welsh twins. That was an instant answer.
Oh, thank you.
And here one of them
here
is.
One of them is, yeah, exactly, the late one.
Obviously my second choice. But James is so busy.
Yeah, you get what you can get, you know.
Exactly, I'll take it. So I wanted to just give a bit of an explanation as to where this video idea came from. So I saw a TikTok, I know you saw it as well, which was Glamzilla's TikTok. So Stephanie Valentine. She's a huge makeup artist on TikTok, Instagram. She's amazing. But she did a TikTok basically saying, what does everybody think? Basically stitch my video. What do you think is up with this divide between content creators versus professional makeup artists? And I was like, when I saw the TikTok, I was like, I mean, I didn't know, I wasn't aware that there was like this beef or this divide. And I think it's probably because I'm not really on TikTok as much as the other platforms, and I feel like it's the most prevalent on TikTok. That's kind of where there's a lot, and I think it shows most on TikTok with like beef or like drama. And it was the comments on that video. I was shook. I was I felt attacked because it was like every comment was like, essentially the implication was that if you aren't a professional makeup artist, you have no place in the beauty space. You shouldn't be creating content. That was the most common comment that I saw. Was a lot of real, like, you know, I guess like venom towards content creators. And I was like, for me, I just think that is like this specific group of content creators. I think there was a lot of you know, content creators are like just after, like, just trying to get money and, you know, drama and tea, and that's kind of what a content creator is. And I was like, that's just not what I think of at all as like what I kind of want for like my space. But at the same time I see it, so like I think there's definitely a bit of an issue with like the definition of who actually is a professional makeup artist and who really is a content creator and who is calling themselves a professional makeup artist or a makeup artist. And what does that even mean anymore? That's kind of, I think, where the issue is coming from. Which is why I was like, I need I need the professional to
We need
come
2
in
sides
and
here.
explain.
Yeah.
I need someone to, because to me it's like obviously you are like the epitome of a professional makeup artist to me. Like, you represent that so well.
Thank you.
And I was like writing a list of like, when I was writing my notes, I had a list of like professional makeup artists, and I was like, well, Robert, Lisa Eldridge, like Hung Van Gogh, Rose Sia, like that. And then when I was trying to write a list of content creators who I know are not and have never been professional makeup artists, and I found that so hard. Because I was like, I don't know. I kept thinking of, were they actually a makeup artist? I don't know.
Some people you don't know, because some people have a background in makeup, whether they were makeup artists for a long time or not. At some point, they were a makeup artist or could have been a makeup artist. So there is a, you know, and it's sometimes you watch some techniques and you can tell, you're like, oh yeah, they're makeup artists just by the little things they do, and then sometimes you're like, maybe not, you know.
You can't tell. Yeah, I think there's like a whole sort of niche of people, and it's a very, like, it will say, you know, their name, professional makeup artist. I'm like, yes, but what does that mean? Yeah. So that's what I was wanting from you. Could like you give us your background, what makes you a professional makeup artist? What kind of gives you that title? Okay,
so again, this is in my opinion, because we'll talk about it later, but I posted a kind of response to that TikTok, and I got some responses as well. So for me, what makes me a professional makeup artist is I'm trained in makeup, not that I think that is important, because I think you can be very much self-taught. But I've been working as a professional makeup artist, meaning I have been paid to do makeup on clients, models, shoots, everything like that, from when I was 18 up until, maybe 2 years ago was the last thing I did before like YouTube maybe got a lot. Not including weddings, like I do like little bits on the side. But for me, it's I have been paid to be a makeup artist, to apply makeup to people, not to myself. For an extensive period of time, and I've learned certain skills, and I've learned certain techniques that I use by professional makeup artists. And only really professional makeup artists need these particular skills, you know, because it's not an everyday thing. For me, a professional makeup artist, and what I know I can do is I can turn up at a shoot. I will have any kind of model of any kind of skin tone, type, texture. I can be in any situation. They can be like, right, we're going to shove this person underwater. This person's going to be in fire. This person's going to be under red light. This person's going to be under daylight. And I will be able to adapt my skills to each of those certain situations, you know, and know what products to use. My kit is packed accordingly and ready for situations like that. Not fire. People isn't going to be in fire, but you know, they'll be like, so you never know, certain situations. So it's for me, it's that understanding of the profession being used in particular areas. So editorial, weddings, even like nights out, if you're doing someone's makeup for a night out, you know, things like that, and different environments, and being paid because you have that set of skills. That
makes sense. Exactly. I think that's one that's like exactly it. I think now the thing is, because people will take, like, you could call yourself a professional makeup artist because you make money from doing makeup. But that's the thing is the bit that kind of separates you is that knowledge of all of the different environments, not just like a YouTube studio and your own face. But I think, like, for me, because I get, you know, if I do Q&As, or I do a series called Makeup Dilemmas, where like people send me questions and I try and answer them. But I don't answer questions like, if someone asks me, oh, I've got oily skin, what blah blah, and I'm like, I don't have oily skin, like, I can't answer that question. I have no idea. And I feel like rude for saying that. I know. But I'm also like, I mean, I'm not going to guess the answer. Of course. I don't know what it is. So then questions like that, technical questions, I'll say like, guys, I don't know. Or the other day I got a skincare question and I was like, I have no idea.
See, this is the thing. Skincare. I also have no idea about skincare. My brother does skincare. I can prep your skin for the foundation I'm going to use and the situation we're in again, but I'm not going to diagnose and like, how do I make my pores do something? I don't know.
Ingredients. No. I'm like vaguely cope with my own skincare and that's all based off like someone else telling me.
Exactly. Can I ask you a question going off from that? Sorry. When somebody asks you a question about makeup, do you feel like you can't answer it because you may not be a certified makeup artist? Or is it because you genuinely feel like you have no idea?
Yeah, so I think typically if it's something like that, that's like either about a different skin type. So say if it was like a foundation and someone said, do you think this would work for dry skin? There's a bit of like, if I don't know, I can't tell, I don't have dry skin, so I couldn't tell you that what it did to me is going to happen, how it's going to work. Sure. For you, I think the main thing for me is complete transparency is what I always kind of try to have. I always tell everybody I'm not a professional makeup artist. I don't know. I don't have dry skin, so I can't really tell you how it will work on your skin. This is what I expect to happen based on how it performs on me. So if, for example, a foundation feels dry on me, and I don't have dry skin, then I would expect it's probably going to be not work for dry skin. Or if a foundation literally looks super shiny on me by the end of the day, I would expect it to not work on someone with oily skin. And that's kind of how I try to answer. But I mean, I always find as well, the funny thing about this, with all this like grey areas, is I get told off for saying I'm not a professional makeup artist. So if I ever say on my channel, I'm not a professional, I have no skill or talent more than anybody else when it comes to makeup. I just love it. I just love doing makeup. And I just really created my channel to be like a place to chat with your mates about makeup. And that's all. And without fail, if I ever say anything like that, I get told, you shouldn't say that, you're amazing, you are so great, like you are a makeup artist. I'm like, it's not an insult to say I'm not a professional. That's literally not a job title I've ever had. But I think that's the thing. People think it's just a claim that you make.
Just because, like I can do it good, now I'm that. But here's the deal though, here's something. Sorry, I thought I wasn't recording my audio then. Here's something I talk about a lot, and I think it's the way everyone has like advanced in terms of what their makeup used to be like before makeup was on social media, and you know, as coming from a time when social media didn't exist and people were clueless about makeup before then, right? And then now we have a kind of like generation of people learning makeup from TikTok or learning makeup from online. So it's kind of, I do see, you know, people who aren't who don't claim to be professional makeup artists, and I look at their makeup, I'm like, this is something somebody would have paid for back now, but you know, back in the day. But everyone is so advanced at makeup that I do have a lot of confidence in people would just be able to do someone's makeup. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, and this isn't an insult to makeup artists, because I know a lot of them and I am one. I feel like our job in terms of the physical application aspect, in terms of the overall image, may not be as, how do I say this without sounding
inaccessible?
It's not as inaccessible, or I don't want to say not as difficult, but maybe it's not as niche as it used to be. Like what a lot of content creators do is great work. It's incredible work, and it's like if they can put that on someone else's face, then what's the difference then from them being a makeup artist, you know, to being an influencer?
Well, I guess it's like, it's what you said. It's that experience of the environment, because would they be able to do, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, that's why I say I don't know. There are people I watch and you would 100% assume or call them a professional makeup artist because their skills are insane. And like incredible, and especially I feel like when it comes to like special effects makeup, like Halloween, like I can't even contemplate how you even do that. No. Like, I am not an artistic person.
It's too much.
Like, baffles me. But I don't know, would they be able to do that for TV on, you know, do you know what I mean, on someone else? I guess it's totally different. But it is like, it's all that other stuff, like things like sanitization and
course.
all of those
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
That for me is like what is so different, like for you, because I don't have to, like, I don't really do tutorials again, because I'll say I can't teach you how to do anything. I can tell you what I like about these things. I can show you how I would use this, and like, you know, what we like. That's what we do really here. We talk about products we love, what we're interested in. It's just like, you know, makeup chatter basically. But I can't really teach someone how to do makeup, and if I did, it would be all like wrong.
You know what? I'm not too sure about that.
Like,
I feel like there's. I think people unknowingly teach people and unknowingly educate people on new techniques. There have been, and I always say, as a professional in anything, I feel like you should be constantly learning, otherwise you're kind of stuck in one place. And there are so many things. Before I started doing makeup on YouTube, I never watched YouTube makeup videos because they would piss me off. So I'd never watch I would never, you know, I would just ignore them. And as I started to kind of like get to know the people in the space and get to know the influencers at 30 years old, it kind of, I was like, oh my God, that's a really good technique. And then you kind of implement it on yourself. We all do things that are old techniques, and then there's other things that come around, you know, different formulas that are being made, different tools. Like recently, I saw a girl use a beauty sponge, and she covered this whole area of her hand in highlighter, rolled the sponge on, and then rolled it on her face, and it looked it looks so good. And now I'm like, I do that when I try to do nice highlighter on myself, like every day if I'm going to an event or something. I would never thought to do that before. I would tap it on for the most natural look. I would not have thought to use a sponge because I don't like using sponges professionally. Hygiene, you know.
Yes.
But I feel like that's nothing, is that influencers do teach without realizing, you know. So there is that element of education there.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. I'm like, you know, if I was to teach, I've done a couple of videos recently where I've been like trying a technique that I've learned from a professional. So I did one that was like how to do like a fox eye, you know, that liner for an idiot, because that's how like my channel is like makeup for idiots. That's my niche.
Sounds good.
If you also
that's
are
what we
an
need.
idiot, this is a safe space. And then I did Chris Cortez's like mascara technique, and I think that's, you know, so I get lots of people who watch that video who aren't familiar with Chris, had never seen, it was the like back combing mascara application, right? And so I think one, like, obviously I learned that from him. I'd never heard of this before.
See, I'd never heard of that before, so that's something I learned from him as well, you know. It's just, and I've learned obviously when I started doing YouTube, my makeup was like awful. It was certainly no better than literally anybody else's. And I've learned so much, but it has literally all come from professionals and other people. And I take the bits that apply to me, you know, because I'm typically trying to do the easiest, quickest route to like the best outcome for me. That's kind of what I'm going for. But like there are a lot of stuff, like I know there's a lot of stuff I do that like you would be like, oh no. Like I use concealer and powder to like prep my eyes for eyeshadow, and I know. Oh, you know how much I can't stand it. Yeah, that's a big no for me.
But I'm like and because you're a professional, obviously using like a proper primer to get the best out of your eyeshadows.
And you know what? With things like that, I think about, as a professional, I've only got used to doing that method. That is the method I use, and that's the method I'm used to. That base affects the way my brush will blend. It affects the way powder will blend. If you've only done that your whole life, then that's what you're used to, you know? So I would never do that on a client because of like longevity, just the risk of it not lasting that long. I know some people have kind of found like the perfect combination to help to make it last a long time. But for me, as somebody who was being paid, I wouldn't risk that. Take that risk, you know?
Exactly. So I'm like, I only have myself to answer to.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I use like concealer set with powder, because for me, being a makeup idiot, I find that it's easy, because my blending is horrendous, right? So I find it easier to blend powder with like on a set
I think your blending is really nice.
You know,
Why do you think it's horrendous? Just because it's not?
I mean, it's getting better. But if I try to use an eye primer and do, you know, like, because you have to, because it's tacky and you have to press. And I cannot. It's a horrendous time.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I can't do it because I'm just useless. So I just, you know, although like you said, this is what professionals would use this, and it's the better outcome. It's going to give you more pigment from your shadows. But I'm just trying like the laziest, easiest route to an average, and
get it done for you, and get it done for you as well. This is different as well. I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos, right? Or even social media, I had never put eye makeup on myself ever before that. Not once. Foundation, yes, like, you know, and the little things like that. But I never became a makeup artist to put makeup on myself. And at the time, influencers and putting your makeup on social media didn't exist. That wasn't a thing, you know. Instagram wasn't around. Like, where would you put it, you know? And your portfolio wasn't you taking pictures of yourself, you know. It was like, it was models, and it was all your work that you'd done. And it was... When it came to doing it on myself, I also had to relearn going from this way to this way, you know? So you have to relearn everything again. Yeah. So, when and there'll be little things as well, like, for example, my scar, right? I would get, one of the comments I would get quite often is, why would I take makeup advice from somebody with that scar? And I'm like, well, first
I thought you were going to say... Pardon? What's that got to do with literally
That's like saying a doctor can't help you because they broke their arm once, you know? Like, it's really strange. But also, people look to makeup artists now as the model, the artist, and a reflection of their artistry, and it's really fucking not, because you might be able to do makeup one way, but when you turn it back on yourself, if you've trained that whole time like that and you turn it back on yourself, it can be completely different. I always tell a story of this one girl I used to work with, and her makeup was appalling, and everyone knew it. I got gloss smudged down her face, eyeshadow down here, crusting mascara, but she was the most incredible makeup artist I think I've ever seen. She was so like detailed and just like everything just looked incredible. And people, I remember her seeing like clients, and they'll be like, oh, and then once it'll be her that she'll be their makeup artist from then on. And we have this thing at the moment where a makeup artist is somebody who can successfully do makeup on themselves, and it's like, that's not really it. And anyway, like, I don't get, unless you're an influencer, you don't get paid for putting makeup on yourself. That there's another difference between like the influencer and a makeup artist, because I wouldn't turn up at a shoot and be like, right, where do you want me, you know, and then do my own makeup and then stand in front of the camera, you know. On like a professional shoot, there'll be models, there'll be a director, there'll be a photographer, you know, and it's always different bits. So I think there's also a generation that's grown up with a different idea of what a makeup artist is to maybe my generation, you know. And it's kind of at like,
this is what I thought of you because you know, I've seen like you get people where you're doing like a tutorial, this is how to do this, and then you get the people commenting like, don't tell me, I'll do what I want, there's no rules in makeup, how dare you. And I saw this video that was this shark diver. She dives with sharks. That's like somehow her job. I don't know who pays her, but that's her job. And she was explaining, if you ever in the sea and a bull shark comes up to you, this is how to survive. And there was people in the comment section of that video being like that, like arguing with her. And I was like, literally, people would rather die and get eaten by a shark than get told what to do.
It's really, really strange. And I think people take makeup as such a personal thing, and I think that's why when people say there are no rules to makeup, and then I'm there kind of arguing it back. So for anyone who doesn't watch my videos, I have this kind of like catchphrase where I say,
I love it,
creativity and individuality have no rules. I mean, you can create whatever you like and be as individual as you like. Of course you can with anything, but makeup has a theory, which is me saying, when it comes to using makeup professionally, there is a theory behind it. Professional makeup artists who are high up in their jobs didn't turn up on set, was like, let's just have a good time today. No rules, you know?
Have a go.
Can you imagine how shit it would look? So,
and it's not like you're going to get arrested for doing
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But also don't be offended that area exists. And it's two separate areas. So, of course, when you're at home doing TikTok, doing all this kind of stuff, and you're putting whatever on and it looks amazing, of course, there are no rules to what you just did, although you did technically follow basic rules. It's not an insult. It's not a, like, I think people take that as people saying makeup has rules, so you're shit. But why does that, like, and as I said earlier, everyone's kind of learnt those rules now. Everyone knows these rules. So it's like you are doing makeup theory without realizing it, you know, and you're doing some incredible stuff without realizing it. But when it comes to people saying this works, and actually technically no, it doesn't, then makeup artistry and makeup theory can step in and be like, even just to save you money, and that's the only reason I do it personally, to stop people from buying that primer that people are claiming glows their skin, covering their face in concealer, using that eyeshadow base that looks like a fucking, I don't know, icing on your eyelid. You know, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do this. And it's, people get offended when people suggest, maybe don't do something like this, or if you're having trouble with this, do this. It's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm fine. Well, if you're fine, then you're good. No one's telling you to change. No one's telling you to change. No one wants you to change. If you're doing good, you're doing good. Like if somebody
trying to help you.
If somebody gives you advice on how to like do your hair, not directly at you, if you're fine, you just don't listen. You just don't take it. You're like, oh, that's interesting. But I'm going to do. So I don't know what it is when it comes to makeup. People are like, I'll do what I want. It's like, okay.
That's fine. It's lots of these things only seem to happen with makeup as well, because I was like, you know, I like cook dinner for my family, but I'm not going around telling everyone I'm a chef,
right?
Like, you know, that doesn't. And you know, I had to teach my kids in lockdown, and I 100% know now I'm not a teacher. Like, that's very clear. And like, it's just things like that. It's like it really seems like this is the only industry where this happens, where like everybody, you know, is a makeup artist or wants to be thought of as one, and that there's no difference between someone who's, you know, had experience in the industry versus me who's just good at makeup. That there's no difference, and that, you know, it's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of my old job. I used to work in Olympic sport.
Wow.
And my job was a performance lifestyle advisor. So my job was to give support to athletes with their like outside life, so their job and their career, their education. And it was one of these where I was like, you know, people kind of butted into that job all the time, because it's not like being a physio or an S&C where you can't go and do that job and just say, I'm just a physio. Wing it.
Exactly.
What's the difference? Whereas people can walk in and start giving them advice, you know, unsolicited advice on their education. That was like, that was a similar thing that I saw there, because there's not this specific expertise that you can't know anything about if you haven't trained in it. That stops people sort of trying to, you know, just do that job. And it's interesting to see it in like makeup, is that, you know, it's hard because there is no, like, this is the specific thing that you have to call yourself a makeup artist.
I think there's this kind of like a myth that you have to have a certification to be a makeup artist. You absolutely don't. Here in the UK, I know especially, you don't have to have a qualification. There are incredible self-taught makeup artists that know everything and are at the top of their game, you know, in the industry. You don't have to be a qualified makeup artist. But then again, where do you learn your hygiene? Where do you learn all this other stuff? Where do you learn about how to like insure yourself, all this kind of stuff? And it's, I said this recently in the video, going back to what you were just saying, when people are like, you know, there's kind of like no rules to makeup. But if we're doing it in a professional setting, it's almost like you coming to a restaurant and I'm the chef and you're like, oh, I want, I don't know, what's food? Mashed potatoes. And I bring out some potatoes I've poked with a fork and like, there you go. And you're like, this isn't mashed potatoes. I'm like, no rules. I'm just being me. You know, it's like,
no rules,
just being creative. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like you expect it in a professional setting. You mentioned in something quickly, one example I want to touch on very quickly. And maybe this is like a subtle... message to older makeup artists, and by older I mean I've stopped recording now. And by older makeup artists, I mean my age, the age of makeup artists who saw social media makeup artistry come into play when it didn't exist before. I said in the TikTok that, and this is based from messages I've received. When I post a video, right, I get messages from professional makeup artists, influencers, all these other things like, oh, we love you for this. Thanks for saying that, doing all this. A lot of and not all of them, there's some amazing professional makeup artists, but a lot of them, in my opinion, seem very bitter. Because they're not commenting on the makeup. It's the I will never comment on someone's personality, maybe but like, you know, their personal lifestyle, the way they look. It's always about the makeup, and I always get like, oh, this person thinks they're great because of this. It's like, I never said that. This person thinks they're good because of this. And it's because we were in that industry, it was more difficult to kind of become a well-known makeup artist. And now you can be 15 and be a well-known makeup artist, you know? And it's kind of like that. It's more instant. And I think when you look at makeup artists who are in their 30s, 40s, looking at these children, to them, being successful in something that's taken them so long to achieve or not yet.
And they've got all of that experience in years. And that's what I see a lot, I think, in this conversation. There is definitely, I've seen like the same thing, like artists and people in the industry who are just like so anti non-professional makeup artists, you know, having any kind of platform or just becoming popular and, you know, having that success. It's like they don't deserve it because they haven't been fighting for this for 30 years. And
and you know what that is? I used to feel kind of like that way back, right, before I started YouTube, because it would be because clients were coming in with misinformation and talking to me. And as a professional makeup artist, somebody who takes information very seriously in their job, for someone to come in with that misinformation, it's like, that's annoying, that person's saying this. Where's it coming from? So you do get that kind of like, oh, that's really annoying, that's really pissed me off. But now coming into it, I kind of see the entertainment side to it, where it's like, you have to be catching, if you want a career as an influencer, you have to do something that's going to catch someone's attention. You know? So it's that kind of like, I understand the influencers, but at the same time, why don't you just do something honest instead of making up something?
And why
you
not
know?
be...
or holding a fork up to, you know, you can do this with a fork, and then whatever, you know, like do something like, you know, good.
Something without cutlery.
You know? useful, I should say.
Exactly that. There's actually, when I started my channel, I was like on maternity leave, like after I'd had one of my children, can't remember which one. And I was just like not feeling like myself, like I'd probably put a lot of weight on, and like I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I was just learning how to like make myself feel more confident with makeup. And I had never been into makeup. Like I said, I spent my whole like teens and early 20s swimming and being wet in a swimming pool. So I was like a tomboy. I never did makeup, and it wasn't till literally I was probably 26 or something till I started really getting into makeup. And that's what I felt like with my channel. I wasn't trying to be a makeup artist. I wasn't trying to teach anyone anything. I was actually trying to learn. But none of my friends or family are into makeup whatsoever. Like everyone's sporty, no one's into makeup. And I didn't have anyone to talk to about it, you know. So I really just wanted a space to chat about makeup and products, and like with other people who were like me. And that's like what has happened now. That's like you know, that's what my space has become, and who my subscribers are. And they all say the same thing: I don't have anyone who's into makeup. I have no one to chat about makeup to. And that's what it is. And I think there's no need for me to like try to be a makeup artist or like masquerade as one, or to try and do the same thing as what a professional would do, because I would be like, it would be ridiculous if I was trying to say I was a professional makeup artist. I'd be the worst one ever. People would be straight onto me. And you know, that's what I used to get when I first started YouTube. All I got was people being like, you can't do makeup, you are terrible. And I was like, I know, I didn't say I could.
People have a fucking
I'm
worst,
just having fun.
Aren't they awful?
I know. But that's literally all I got, and I was like, I didn't say I could do it. I'm just like
having fun with it.
I'm just having fun and enjoying it. And I think that's the thing is, you know, there's room for like everybody, and anyone can start a channel, but it's just be yourself and offer what you have to offer, rather than that's like everybody trying to present as something. I think when my channel was born out of frustration,
because I was like, if this is where the misinformation is coming from, let me get on that platform and give the right information. And if you watch some of my earlier reaction videos, I'm really fucking pissed off. Like, I am pissed off. I'm rude. I'm like, I can't, you know? And then, because I wasn't like influencing then, I was just a makeup artist.
No, we're all going to go and do that.
Yeah, you go do my first one and go, oh, what a dick. But that's coming from the makeup industry where it's very cutthroat, and if you didn't do something right, you didn't do it right. It isn't like, oh, it's okay. Yeah. No, there's a certain look you have to create and do, you know? So it's going from that and then going into somewhere where it's like, there's no rules. It's a little bit like, oh, you know, there's more leniency. And I think you learn that, and I from watching like social media makeup content that I didn't consume before, you can see the patterns of like, okay, this is to trying to go viral, this is an advert for a company, this is a company using someone else's content that is misinformation but not saying it's the correct information, so technically they're not saying it's the right thing, you know, you can see all these kind of patterns and understand it a little bit more. Exactly. And I think it's a little bit more, you become more, I guess, like lenient. But then there are those people that like, you can't fucking do you can't fucking do this, you can't, you know, and it's like, well, I don't know. I thought makeup had no rules, you know, like, where are we going? What direction are we going in?
Pick a lane.
Yeah, I was thinking as well, when you were talking about why you started doing your YouTube channel, makeup means like different things to different people and means something to different people. So it's like, to a professional makeup artist, it's their profession, it's something they're educated in, it's something they've tried to master for years and years and years, where somebody like yourself, who it's just like, it makes you feel better, it's like an escape. For some people it's a really brutal form of escape, something that they, you know, really take themselves out of the world with and create like amazing art.
100,
Two sides are trying
therapy.
to police what it means to them, and exactly, and how important it is to them, and it's equally as important to both sides, but each side is trying to say what it means to everyone. Like, you're not a professional makeup, you can't call yourself a makeup artist. There are rules, there aren't rules, and it's like, there's no, we don't have an in-between. There's no, like, we don't have a word for somebody who isn't a professional makeup artist but is absolutely incredible at makeup. They're an artist using makeup. So what are they? You know? And it's like, we can't now come up with a word because it would just seem stupid. It would seem like, you know, really, really dumb. If you're like, oh, makeup. I hate makeup enthusiasts as well. Because it's like, you're enthusiastic about it, but it's like, I'm enthusiastic about, I don't know, water. You know, but it doesn't mean I'm not good at water.
I'm not enthusiastic about all of it. Some of it's not good.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know. I think enthusiast is a bit like, you tried, you know, whereas like, no, they're really, really good.
You tried.
Yeah, and it's like, there's that, have you seen those TikToks of that little girl who does makeup on her mum? And she's really amazing.
Oh, yes.
She is so good, and I said in my reaction to that, I don't like kids enough to pretend that she's amazing, but she's so good. Where does that come from? The internet.
People don't believe it. All the comment section are saying that it's like edited, or she cuts and then someone else does it or something. And I'm just like, people don't want to believe.
No, I was watching one, right, and it was her side versus her mum's side, and actually the girl's side was better than her mum's side because she added like depth and texture to the eye, whereas the mum's side was kind of flat. And I was like, so either the mum, if that's the case, and the mum's done a terrible one, and then like, not terrible, like an okayish one, and then like a good one.
But
I don't know. It was just have that extra step further. You know what I mean? It wasn't just one color blended. There was shimmer, and it was like light in different places. You know, it was more thought out than maybe just a basic look. But if she's learned that from the internet, then crazy, like, oh my god, you can teach yourself anything. You know, and with makeup, something that maybe isn't, you know, just comes off. Do what you need to do. Learn what you need to learn. I did.
Exactly. That's the thing about, I guess.
Go on. Sorry, no, you go ahead. This is a separate thing you can. Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing I feel like about YouTube is it's given, or not just YouTube, but social media. You can like literally learn anything.
100%.
And what is amazing about it is it's like, you know, I guess that the way people learn and the rules and things like, you know, the actual things that you have to do as a professional. So there's probably, I didn't even know, there's probably like legal things that you need to do as far as hygiene and stuff like that. And certificates even that you probably have to work in certain places and all that stuff. That will be different in like every country. And, like,
every situation sometimes as well.
Every country. So if you're watching a makeup artist in America you're in a different country, that's not necessarily the same for you. You know, you
It might not apply, yeah.
What we now have is like, yeah, you can see like trends, techniques, the way that people do things in like all over the world.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if you were like taught in the UK, you learned in the UK from UK makeup artists, that's that specific way that, you know, that's all we could see. Whereas like now on YouTube, you can see
everyone,
like all
everywhere,
different countries
100%.
How people do makeup, like
it's so funny
yeah,
you
so
say
like
that.
trends.
Yeah.
Because there's that. I can't remember who.
Go on.
Someone, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Kristen Dominique, someone like that, who did a series of like French makeup versus US makeup. And she used to do a series like this was like back in the day.
Yeah.
But that was like so, because I don't even know, how do you even know what French makeup looks like? I have no idea. But that's really interesting. Yeah.
I always remember when I used to work for MAC years and years and years ago. It was my first job in makeup, and where I learned a lot of makeup actually. We had this one American artist. Her name was Fatima. Or she called herself Fatima, so that's how she pronounced it. And she was a senior makeup artist for MAC, and she was American. And this is before YouTube, before Instagram, before everything. She came over and like did some like makeup on people, and she was doing things. I was like, it is slightly different. Now you said it in my head. I was like, that was slightly different, and the way she did it was slightly different to how we would do it here. Not just because she was an incredible makeup artist, and you know, compared to some people watching, but she had different techniques and like amazing techniques as well. Yeah, that's so true. You don't think of it like that. We're such in this place where we have access to everything. When you think about, you know, back in the day, it's like you don't really think about how it was, you know.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, it's so funny you started at MAC, because that is literally like that is my first ever sort of makeup memory. Is like going into MAC with like my, you know, £30 from my birthday. And I literally went, Jim, but like I had Pink Freeze eyeshadow. And Pervert lipstick.
Yes, oh my god.
Those two makeup, I must have gone through 4 of each of those, and that's all I wore for all school. Was that like frosted pink lipstick and eyeshadow.
It was a thing. It was a thing. Yeah. Everyone was doing it. It was great. It was a great look.
And it was terrifying to go into MAC. It was really intimidating.
Because
you used to go in and they were all really mean.
Yeah. Everyone thought it was too good to be there.
Now they're like super friendly.
It's because, you know why? I think because MAC are a brand, completely different subject, because MAC are a brand that have fallen behind in terms of trends, but it used to be very artistry focused, and now it's very sales focused. So when it comes to they're trying to lose that, like, we're the professionals, we're the, you know, the standard, and trying to be a little bit more friendly. That's for another time.
I see it.
That's a whole other thing.
Oh my god, brilliant. When I thought, because originally, so here's the thing, so when I first spoke to Robert and I asked you to do this video with me, I thought that we lived close. So I thought that you lived like do you know where I thought you lived? Winchester.
Near.
Don't even know where it is. Do you know where? So that was like, I don't know, that's like an hour from me. And so I thought, I'll just come to your house and we'll just film it together. And then you were like, no, you live like 3 hours.
You're 2 hours away.
I was like, but then I was like thinking, that's what I was thinking, what we should have done if we were in the same place was if you had done like half of my makeup and I had done the other half. And what the difference. The difference. That we would have seen would have been the visual representation of the difference between
you know what, though, sometimes there's what was I looking at recently, and I saw it was a professional makeup artist doing something, and I looked at it and I was really underwhelmed, because I was like, because we see so much like amazing things online by someone doing it in their room and then posting it, and then you see like what's like, you know, fashion makeup or you're like, it's like, okay,
that's not quite going to cut it.
that wouldn't it doesn't quite meet that artistic mark where it's like crazy artistic, you know. Yes,
the bar is flipping high. Isn't it?
It really
like,
is.
Wow. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me,
for honouring us with your presence on my channel. You're my first ever guest.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
also
thank
should
you.
feel
Oh,
honored.
amazing.
I've never had a guest. I don't allow just anyone on.
Oh, it's fun. Having guests is fun. Doing things with other people is really, it's a good time.
It is fun.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
And I love this
You're
idea as
so
well. I think there's
welcome.
such a divide that doesn't have to exist. There's two separate things,
totally.
and they can exist together. There's always going to be a mini
Exactly
battle, though,
that.
isn't there? There's always going to be like a mini.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Little
healthy,
mini-
maybe it's not. Who knows?
Yeah. I think like for me, like that, I think what we've concluded really is that to me, transparent thing is the solution to everything. If you are clear about this is what I'm doing and who I am, what I know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an issue really at all. I think it's, like I said, like we offer something completely different.
Of course.
Like I'm not here to teach. I can't teach you anything. If you're here to be taught, you have got lost. But I'd highly recommend you go to Robert.
I believe people can learn something from your channel. We can all learn everything from each other. Trust me, you'll be surprised.
How not to do. I always say I'm not trying to sell people stuff. I always say, let me spend my money so
you don't have to.
That's kind of what I feel
exactly.
The point is.
It becomes a bit of a hobby spending money.
Let me let me spend money on these terrible products so you don't.
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather do that than like try and make people buy stuff. Like that's not.
Yeah. I get you. Oh, thank you so much again. This has been really fun.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining me. I feel like you need to go and have a nice lie down now.
I'm going to go and de-stress. What's the time? Oh, it's only 5:00. I'm hungry.
It's 10 to 5, yeah. Yeah, same.
I'm really
Same.
starving.
Is it dinner time, I guess?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have Chinese tonight. Yeah, I was on a diet for like a day and I'm really feeling
why
it.
would
So I
you
really...
say? It's been so long since I had a Chinese. It's time, isn't it? You just get the feeling like it's time, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like I need that grease, that greasy noodle as well. Thank you
so
again.
much.
It was so nice to see you.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so there you have it. Those are mine and the amazing Robert Welsh's thoughts on this hot tea topic. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again so much to Robert. He is my all-time favourite dream guest that I have been wishing to be on my channel with you guys. As you know, the answer to my who would be my dream collab, and now it's happened. So yeah, thank you so much to Robert for joining me. This was so fun to do. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.